Start has shut out the Montreal Expos.
To the mic.
Friend of the show, let's bring in Bryce Eldridge. Let's welcome in Lee Jung-Hoo from Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. He wears number 65, Landon Root.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill. I always enjoy talking to you.
Let's welcome in Wade Boggs. Let's bring in Will the Thrill. He's the ace of the staff. Let's welcome in Logan Webb. Logan, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Good to be on here.
Welcome to Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Giants sweep the LA Dodgers.
Sponsored by Lunardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply the best. Right here on your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants. KNBR, the sports leader.
Agnos to the plate, the runners go, and there's a shot to left field. Down the line, a screamer. Adios, Pelota! A grand slam for Willie Adames. And now it is 11-3 Giants.
Welcome into a Sunday edition of the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. How do you stop a 5-game losing streak? Well, you score 19 runs and you hit 25 hits. And in those 25 hits, you get 9 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs, and one of those home runs, a grand slam. The San Francisco Giants put their hitting shoes on today, and they did not miss a beat. 11 hitters came up to the plate today. All of them got hits. 10 of them all got RBIs. So you say, what happened today? It should have happened yesterday and Friday. Well, I agree with you. What did happen today? Boy, they saw the ball better. It was a day game. Balls were flying. And the San Francisco Giants mounted an attack. They scored every inning except the third. And they mounted an attack in the 5th inning where they scored 7 runs. And if you believe this, 2 doubles in a row, and then they got 2 outs, and they manufactured 6 more runs that inning after 2 outs. Unbelievable how they hit the ball that inning. And, of course, they intentionally walked Luis Ariz, and Willie Adames said, no, you can't do that. And he hit a grand slam. And that was his 6th of his career. That's the 4th grand slam the Giants have had this year, if you remember. 2 by Harrison Bader, 1 by Rafi Devers, and now 1 by Willie Adames. And the ball was flying out of Colorado. We've always talked about hitting in Colorado, a ballpark where you should be able to score double digits. What I liked about this game today, they added on. They were just not complacent. They kept hitting and scoring and running the bases. It was a fun game, no question. But you say to yourself, why can't this happen consistently? Why can't these guys do this every day? Well, it's Major League Baseball. Everything's different. Every day changes. A couple hitters today just really shined. And you got to look at Jung-Hoo Lee. 5 for 6 today with 2 RBIs. This series himself, he came off the IL, if you remember, on Friday. He went 4 for 5. He went 2 for 4 yesterday. 5 for 6 today, his first 5-game hitting in one game. He went 11 for 15 on this series. Jumped his batting average back over 300. 11 for 15. That's right, 11 hits. And we've been waiting for this. We've been saying Bryce Eldridge should be playing every day, and now he's starting to get comfortable at the plate. A couple doubles, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and then the launch ball in the 6th inning where he hit a dead straight center field, 423 feet. You just don't hit balls like that. That's a manly home run, and he didn't miss it. He had a great game today. 4 for 6, got a guy over, hit a ground ball a second to get a guy over, and then an RBI after that. But he did everything you wanted to see out of Bryce Eldridge. Even his last out, the line drive right to the first baseman. I should say that wasn't his last out. He got a base hit in the 9th. But the ball he launched in the 7th inning, a line drive directly at the first baseman, could have had another double. These are the things that we want to see. These are the things that youth are going to do. This is what we want to see out of the younger players. Get them to play. Get them out there and establish themselves in the big leagues. Rafi Devers, great day today. 4 for 6, 3 doubles. He's got 18 doubles. He's going to hit. We've been waiting for it. And what he's done, he's pushed the ball all over. Right field, left center. And that's the Rafi Devers we've been waiting for. Ariz, just a great game out of him today. Defensively, got an intentional walk, got a sack RBI, a couple of those, 3 RBIs. He is just a professional hitter. It goes right down the row. Each guy, Schmidt, 3 for 6. Devers, 4 for 6. Arise, 1 for 4, but 3 RBIs. Willie Adames, 3 for 5, 4 RBIs with the grand slam. Jung-Hoo Lee, like I said, 5 for 6. Matt Chapman got an RBI. He was 1 for 6. Eldridge, 4 for 6. Daniel Susac, 1 for 3. Got hit in the head with that one ball. Man, that crowned him really good. Shook him up. Let's hope he's fine. And then Drew Gilbert hitting a triple in the 5th inning, and he went 1 for 6 with an RBI. Just a fantastic hitting outrage of 25 hits by the San Francisco Giants. Now you look on the pitching side, you're scratching your head. I know Robbie Ray is sitting there going, my goodness, I could have had a win today. What kills Robbie Ray is he didn't have a put-away pitch. And you look at what he did in 4 innings, 96 pitches, 59 for strikes. I talked about this before. He had 27 foul balls. 27 out of the 96 pitches were foul balls. Just think, all those pitches he wasted on foul balls, and he couldn't get the 5 innings in. Tristan Beck, who got recalled from AAA, just had a tough inning. He went 1 inning, giving up 2 earned runs. I was glad to see Caleb Killian back out there. As you could tell, he was throwing more fastballs than breaking balls. He learned a lesson in Colorado. He ends up getting the win. Joel Peguera gets that injury. I think it's probably the hamstring once again. Hoping that it was a cramp. Don't forget he was on the IL with that hamstring issue right out of spring training. He limped off the field. And JT Brubaker comes out of the bullpen and drops an inning and 2/3, a shutout ball. So the Giants now have some momentum. They have to. They're going to a hot team, Milwaukee Brewers, for a 4-game series. This is going to be a battle. This is going to really test what the Giants did today and how they can take this momentum right into Milwaukee, as I said, a 4-game series. Let's talk about this game. What'd you like about it? Most likely the 19 runs and the 25 hits. But I thought a couple guys really performed well. Like I said, Jung-Hoo Lee, Bryce Eldridge, 2 bright spots in this lineup. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Post-Game Show, 415-808-KNBR. Let's get some Sunday phone calls and get this show moving on. We'll be right back on Sports Leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
Today was just kind of an explosion, and it all kind of came together. But I really feel like the tone was set in the first inning by Schmidt. He doesn't get on base, but it's a long at-bat to start the game. And then Willie walks, and again, you saw what Willie did on the grand slam. We want him swinging the bat, but he laid off some borderline pitches and continued to set up the inning.
All right, back on the extra inning post-game show. Tony Vitello's got to have a smile on his face. The offense ended up getting 25 hits with 9 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. They kept the line moving. We've been talking about that this whole season, and this is what they have to do. Before the game, a couple of things had happened. Will Brennan got optioned back to AAA. Ryan Baruchi got DFA'd. Tristan Beck got called back up from AAA, and Jonah Cox, who I had on the show a couple weekends ago, from AA, he got called up and ended up getting a base hit off a player, not a pitcher, but who cared? He got his first major league hit. And I think what we saw was speed coming from first to third. The ball got away from the catcher, and he scored a tremendous amount of speed, and this is what's going to help him. He's going to be good. There's no question. Speed never takes a day off, as they always say. And he's the best outfielder in the minor leagues the Giants have. So Buster did not hold back. He wanted a little more extra speed and better defense, so they brought up Jonah Cox and had a nice first day. I really think with his family and friends, he is from Colorado. His dad ended up playing minor league baseball for many years, played 19 games in the big leagues with the Expos. They were there with all smiles on their face. So he is a big leaguer today, and that's what's great about Jonah Cox. Later today, I got a couple great interviews. Another player that I really feel could help the Giants, Drew Cavanaugh, a catcher. He's now in AAA, had 22 games in AA, hit .279, 7 doubles, 3 home runs, got moved up to AAA. And what he's done in AAA, he's just been mashing. 119 at-bats, he's hitting .328, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. He throws right and bats left, and this kid's got speed. From Florida Southern, he's got 6 stolen bases already in AAA. Had a nice sit-down with him on Friday to talk to him on what he thinks the movement did for him in AA and AAA. And then I sat down with Kyle Haynes. Of course, he's the senior director of player development. Talk a lot about the minor leagues, some players, some key players that he feels are stronger. And, of course, if you think about this, every team in AAA, AA, both divisions in A-ball are in first place. All of them. Every one of them in first place. Richmond, who was in last place last year, is one of the best records in minor league baseball. So everything is changing. A lot of positives in the minor leagues. And today I'll sit down with Kyle and we'll talk a lot about it. So a couple interviews down the road, but want to get to the phone calls. Of course, today the Giants win 19-6 on to Milwaukee for a 4-game series. Hey, let's go to Saratoga and get the game started. Let's get the show started and talk to Bob. Bob, how are you on a Sunday?
Very good, Bill. Congratulations. I hope we can sustain this and keep it going now because the altitude helps a little bit out there, and also their pitching wasn't all that great. But at the same time, I'm optimistic that with so many guys, our best player is our second baseman, and I've heard rumors and heard it on the radio from reporters that we should trade him because he's worth something and we could get something back. I think he's the keystone of the best addition we made last year, and we should keep him as long as we can because he didn't come for a big price, but he never strikes out, and he's now becoming a great second baseman because of our great coach, Washington. So I hope that's a rumor.
You're absolutely right, Bob. And I think you're going to hear rumors when you got a team that's 23 and 36. You're going to hear rumors about teams in the top of the divisions trying to cherry pick teams that are in the lower part of each division. That's what always happens. You hear about Robbie Ray. You hear about Luis Arise. I even heard rumors about Caleb Killian. So you're going to hear names out there. You're always going to hear it. When I played, you heard rumors all the time in June, and you start in July, and your agent calls you, hey, somebody's inquiring about you. Until the move is made, they're just rumors. So don't look into it, Bob. I'm right there with you. I'd love to see Luis Ariz get an extension and be here for a couple more years.
Well, he was also one of the most valuable players in the world Venezuelan championship.
Yes,
I mean, this
totally.
guy's a prize, and we should never trade him. He's the cornerstone of the rebuild, for God's sakes. And then
a three-time batting champ. How about that, Bob? Three times he's won a
that's
batting
what I mean.
champion.
He never strikes out. You know,
Yep.
he's not a big home
How
run
about
hitter,
hitting
but we have enough of it.
323?
Yeah,
Hitting 323 right now, and that's what this Giants team needs. I like what they did today, yesterday, of course, on the extra inning post-game show. I said, juggle up the lineup, get this lineup changed, and he did it right way. I still think Jung-Hoo Lee could be leading off. Casey Schmidt did a great job leading off, 3 for 6, and they brought Rafael Devers up to the 2 spot, and that's where he likes to hit. And you're going to get 6 at-bats out of him. And today he performed with 3 doubles. He's got 18 doubles. So I like what he did. He kind of pushed better hitters up at the top of the lineup. It really pushed the lineup even further down. I still would like to see Eldridge move up a little bit more, maybe move Chapman down. Things that he can generate as this road trip continues.
Well, Fargon destroyed the farm system, and I think in 1 year or two, Buster is rebuilding it because that's how we won all those championships. So that's a really good sign.
Yeah, Kyle Haynes I'm going to have on later. He's going to really diagnose a lot that happened in the minor leagues over the last couple of years. He's a senior director of player development. A great conversation I had with him on Friday or Thursday of this week, and we really dove into each division with some of the top players, and he really feels a lot of these players can continue to move up. And rookie ball's got 2 of the greatest players in the prospects, 1 and 2 with Hernandez and Gonzalez, 2 young players, a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old, fabulous young players, and everything's starting to develop the right way, Bob.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your comments. Always great to hear you and talk to you. Thank you.
Bob, appreciate the call. Let's go to Sacramento, and Safe at Third's on. How are you, buddy?
Doing real good, Bill. I'm very pleased with today's performance. I'm going to say this. Let's keep this lineup for 4 games in Milwaukee. What do we have to lose? This was a very productive lineup. A long time. We've already shook the lineup.
Well, the thing is, Safe at Third, you got 2 lefties thrown. Of course, Kyle Harrison's throwing Tuesday. You got a lefty starting tomorrow. I think that's why they brought Jonah Cox up to maybe play center field. And Drew Gilbert sits down because, as we all know, Drew has a hard time hitting lefties. And now you got a righty there. You'll have Jung-Hoo Lee in right field and Schmidt in left field. So you're going to have a little more potent offense, especially if you put Jonah Cox leading off with his speed.
I like the way things went today. They seem to off of each other. They seem to enjoy it. I know they've been going through hell. We've been going through hell with them as Giant fans. But play the lineup. Play this lineup for 4 games, especially with Adames going home. I'd like to see him show his best outing at home and show them why I wanted to be a Giant. I hope that happens.
Yeah, I agree. That's we saw it last year too. Remember, Safe at Third, a standing ovation they gave him. He was a very well-liked player in Milwaukee. They moved on with him. The Giants snagged him. Of course, he's had highs and lows in a Giants uniform. The defense got to get a little bit better. The hitting's got to be a little bit better. But today, boy, that grand slam, I think it ignited him a little bit when they intentionally walked Ariz to pitch to him. Boy, he nailed that grand slam. That was smiles going around the bases.
That was definitely very, very done very well. Well, and I like what you were talking about the minor league situation, Bill. I'm encouraged about the minor league situation and how it's going, and I hope it continues to do well. With that, I'm out of here. You have a great rest of your day, Bill. Love you.
Safe at Third. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. And it's so true. A lot of different things happen. Even going back to Sabian, trading a lot of the pieces to win 3 World Series. And then Farhan, of course, it was an open door policy in the minor leagues. There was nothing there to dwell on or believe in. And now Randy Wynn, as well as Kyle Haynes, kind of put it together now 2 years now, and you're starting to see the flow of these players. And don't forget, they picked 4th in a July amateur draft, and they also pick, I do believe it was 27th or 26th from that trade of Patrick Bailey. So they have 2 good picks coming up in this July amateur draft. So we'll see how that all translates. All right, let's go to Walnut Creek. Talk to Yogi. Yogi, how are you on a Sunday?
I'm doing great, Bill. I'm so happy for you. This victory today, it makes your show better. Everybody's in a good mood. And
takes everybody to take a deep breath and kind of look at what they did today. And I know it's Colorado, and I know they got 25 hits. You still got to make contact. You ran bases good. They were aggressive. I liked just the overall game. And Jung-Hoo Lee, what a series he had. 11 hits, 15 at bats. I would like to see him leading off or getting on top of the order. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not one to give advice. I don't know how to do the order. I'm happy. You know, I'm the lone person who is perfectly happy with this season. Be honest with you, I'd rather be 13 games under 500 on June 1st than up 3-0 in the World Series, because I love summer. I love that first month of fall, and and I take this game one day at a time. So if they win tomorrow,
I think that's what they got to do. Yep, Yogi, I think that's what they got to do, and the only way to do it is win series. I know they're probably disappointed by not winning 2 out of 3 in Colorado, but they dropped a 5-game losing streak with a win. Now they fly to Milwaukee with a little momentum, and this is going to be a grudge match. These 4 games are going to be well played. Brewers can hit, and they got 2 lefties throwing. Of course, Kyle Harrison, who's been with the Giants when he first signed, he's going to pitch on Tuesday, and he's pitching real well. He's 6-1 with a 1.4 earned run average.
Yeah, well, I don't think you should put the season in context of what's going to happen at the end of the season. It's still, like you say, we got 4 games in Milwaukee. They'll all be exciting. It's an exciting team. So this is a good year. It's a good year. Don't look at the
got to start. Got to get it better, though. Yeah, I think we got to get it better. But, yeah, Yogi, thanks for the call. I appreciate you picking up and calling in. Let's go to John. He's in South San Francisco. John, a great win today. They finally break this 5-game losing streak. Boy, oh boy, these losing streaks sure hurt, don't they?
Yeah, it sure does. But finally, they got the win today, Bill. That was huge today. I thought the offense came through today, Bill, and they finally showed up, putting up 19 runs today.
You know what was key about this, John, when you look at that 5th inning, a double by Jung-Hoo Lee, a double by Chapman, and then a ground out. Eldridge grounds out, moves the guy to third. Susac strikes out, so they had 1 run in with a runner on third, 2 outs, and what happens? Triple, base hit, double, walk, grand slam, and a base hit. And that's 2 out hits, something we don't see about with this team. All those hits came after 2 outs.
You're absolutely right, Bill. And I thought Adonis with the grand slam was huge, by the way. That was the key, was him getting the grand slam today. And not only that, couple callers just mentioned about the young prospects. You know, I like what the front office is doing. Look at these young guys. You know, I'm not going to harp on the front office. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to throw Fuzzy on the bus or Randy went on the bus. No, I know it's early. I get it. We have to be patient. Okay, that's rule number 1. Just be patient. That's all. That's rule number 1.
Well, you know, when you bring up Jonah Cox, who's from Double-A, that's a big jump from Double-A to the big leagues, but he's done everything you wanted. Over 25 stolen bases. He's been hitting over 400 for a good month. I had him on the show a couple weekends ago, and he's comfortable in his own skin, and I think that's where the confidence comes in. He goes out there and plays hard every day. We saw how he maneuvered on the bases today. Once that ball got away from the catcher, he was at third next to Ron Wotus, and bam, he didn't even hesitate. He ran in and scored. Those are things that you have to be heads up on as a good base runner, and that showed me right there that, you know, he's ready to play in the big leagues. It's a big jump, but I think he'll be fine. I really do. Hitting over 400, he makes a lot of good contact, and as I said earlier, he's progressed to be one of the best defensive outfielders in the minor leagues that the Giants have had.
No doubt about it. I like what Jonah Cox came in. The speed was amazing when he was on base for pitch running, and his fielding, no doubt about it, looks good in the outfield, Bill. I mean, he looks good at center field as well. And also,
it's going to be now that Harrison Bader's down, John, you put Drew Gilbert out there, but as I said, 2 lefties starting the first 2 games in Milwaukee. The Giants knew that, and you can't have Gilbert face lefties. He just cannot hit left-handed pitchers, and this was a good move. They had Will Brennan, another lefty. They said, okay, go back to AAA. We want to try this, and they're going to try Jonah Cox. And you know what? Give the guy his pleasure. Give the guy his reward of doing what he did in AA since the beginning of the year. He's played consistent. The batting average has been there. The speed's been there. The defense is there. It just tells the Richmond Braves, and it tells the Sacramento. I see Richmond Braves all the time. I used to play in Richmond. They're Richmond Flying Squirrels. The Richmond Flying Squirrels and the Sacramento River Cats. Players can move in this organization, and I think that's the plus when you bring somebody up from AA.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, do we have an update on Joe Piquero's injury yet, or no?
Nothing yet, but I really believe it has to be that hamstring. And that hamstring, he pulled it in spring training. He was on the IL. A lot of times in Colorado, you get cramps. Hopefully it was a cramp, but the way he was walking off looked like the same leg that he injured. He was throwing 102, 103 miles an hour. Let's just hope that, it isn't back to that injury of a hamstring, and he's fine when he gets to Milwaukee.
Absolutely, Bill. Let's just hope they can set the tone in Milwaukee. As the last caller said about the game against Milwaukee, you have to, you got to score runs early against these 2 lefties, especially seeing like former Giant Kyle Harrison, who's been pitching darn well.
6-1 with a 1.57 earned run average, something that the Giants fans was hoping he would do in a uniform with the orange and black. 14 walks, 61 strikeouts, John. He's throwing Tuesday against Trevor McDonald. Tomorrow, Landon Roop is against Shane Drouhan, D-R-O-H-A-N, Drouhan. He's coming out of the bullpen, a left-hander, 2-1 with a 2.6. Mostly coming out of the bullpen, not starting. He's had a few starts. And tomorrow, another one. 8 walks, 28 strikeouts. Milwaukee's tough. They're in first place. They're playing real well. So you got to win that first one to set the tone of the other 4.
You're absolutely right, but let's hope they set the tone in Milwaukee tomorrow, and I hope they can go play well this week.
John, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of this Sunday. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show, 415-808-KBR. Got a few callers on hold. Stay right there. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with more right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
Swing, and there's a high drive into center. Back is McCarthy at the warning track, and it's into the Christmas tree farm. Home run for Bryce Eldridge over the 4:15 marker. No question about it. 12-5 Giants.
All right, back on KNBR. I love that. The Christmas tree lot. That's a good one, John Miller. I think that's the first I've ever heard that at Coors Field. But, boy, what a slam by Bryce Eldridge.
And it's into the Christmas tree farm.
Attaboy, Ryan. Straightaway center field, 435 feet. He didn't miss that one. Ball was up a little bit. He got under it, and how about that? Going 4 for 6. He's got a .241 batting average. He's smiling, flying to Milwaukee. He's off the I-80. You know, we always say the I-80, I-60 when you're under 200. And now he's got a .241 batting average, and Bryce Eldridge is definitely dialed in. So much better at the plate. Comfortable, going the opposite way, taking pitches. Got to get him up in the lineup, though. I don't like him in his 7th spot. Push him up. Get him in an RBI situation, maybe in the 5th or 6th spot. I still think Jung-Hoo Lee needs to go on the leadoff spot. My buddy Mavo just emailed me. He said, Bill, I agree with you. Jung-Hoo Lee's got to be your leadoff hitter. Put Casey Schmidt down. Mavo, you're 100% right. Let's just see what happens, though. You know, Tony changed it around yesterday by getting Willie Adames out of there. Willie was 0 for 8 in the first 2 games. He's seeing what we're seeing, no question. Devers now hitting 2 in the 2 spot. That's where he likes to hit. And, hey, you get 4 hits, you get 3 doubles in one game, you can hit second all day. What this offense did today is exactly what they needed. Move the line, continue to keep hitting, continue to keep adding runs in. After the 5th inning when they scored 7, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th. That's how you got to make this team happen. This is how you win games. This is how you get the opposition totally away from you. And even though the opposition, Colorado, came back a little bit in the 7th inning, no, the game was over, and the Giants won this one 19-6. Starting tomorrow, they're flying to Milwaukee right now. First pitch tomorrow, 4:40. Landon Roop takes the hill for the Giants. He's 5-5 with a 3.3 earned run average. On Tuesday, again, a 4:40 start. Trevor McDonald will get the start in that game. He's 2-2 with a 4.3. Then Logan Webb takes the hill on Wednesday. That's also a 4:40 start. And then I do believe it's Adrian Hauser. I didn't see it. Adrian Hauser on Thursday. And that's an 11:10 a.m. start. So those are your 4 starters going into Milwaukee. And the offense, got to keep it going, fellas. You got to keep this going. Get some home runs. They had a nice 3 home runs today. They had 1 yesterday. The home run ball has got to continue. This team has to score runs as they did today. 415-808-KNBR. I want to talk some more Giants baseball. Let's go to Mike. He's in San Francisco. Mike, a nice game today. What do you think this Giants team's got to do to get into Milwaukee and do the same?
Well, okay, to get into Milwaukee, I wanted to start it off with a little joke. For a batter's eye of redwood trees in San Francisco.
Okay.
But, yeah, for getting into Milwaukee, I think we got to do what we're doing. I feel refreshed with 19 runs. This is the first time since 2021, May 20th, when we played the Reds. We beat them 19-4. Johnny Cueto got the win, and Darren Ruff, Brandon Crawford, Evan Longoria, and Steven Duggar all homered that day. But I feel about
that's a good memory right there. That's a great memory right there. Do you remember that game?
The last time we scored this many runs. And I was just, it might be somewhere in the back of it. But,
well, Mike, when you look at Milwaukee, they're 35-21. They're in first place. They got a 4.5 game lead over the Cubs. This is where you really have to watch out. They're 19-11 at home. And they can play well at home. They got a good abundance of hitters, and we're going to see 2 lefties the first 2 games. The other 2 games they haven't announced yet. And, it's going to be a competitive game on Tuesday when Kyle Harrison gets on the mound against the Giants.
Yeah. Harrison's one of my guys. Look at the year he's having. Ever since he learned that kick changeup, he's really turned it around from what he was doing when he was over here. But I just think, like, Jung-Hoo Lee, like you say, got to be hitting leadoff, and he can't be afraid to steal a base because the guy's really fast.
Yeah, we haven't seen that though yet. Mike, why haven't we seen Jung-Hoo Lee take off? I mean, I think it was yesterday when he took off a few times, balls were fouled off. I'd like to see him try to steal him a few more bags. When you're looking at Jung-Hoo Lee, he doesn't have a stolen base yet.
He's got to get over. I think it's a fear. I don't know, but I think it's a fear. And I just think he's so good at running that stolen bases are going to come naturally to him when he tries.
Well, Mike, do you remember when he first signed with the Giants? One of the first things they said is he's got speed. He can play the outfield real well, all the corners and center field. But he was a prolific stealer. He was a prolific base stealer in Korea. And we just haven't seen that yet. I'm going to do an interview with him. They come back home. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to ask him some questions like that. Some of the things he did in Korea, he has not done in the United States yet. And I've been writing some notes down, and I'm going to quiz him about it and find out why. Because there's got to be a reason why he doesn't go every time he gets on first.
Yeah, definitely, Bill. And it was nice to see Bryce Eldridge break out today, and also, I just want to take a moment to really show some feeling for the guy Joel Peguero, because that's probably the worst I've seen a guy walk off a hamstring in a long time. Can I ask you? We've got. If he does go on the IL, we've got a bunch of guys in the minor leagues right now. We've got Carson Wisenhunt, played Tidwell, Carson Seymour, San Martin is
throwing a ball
doing a rehab assignment, and so's Jason Foley.
You know where Jason Foley came back from? He was with Detroit.
Come up?
Jason Foley was with Detroit. He's got experience in the bullpen. I think that was one of the names I was looking at if there was a move. A couple of young guys, there's no way Carson Wisenhunt's going to come up. He's been starting down there. He's been throwing the ball consistent. Seymour's the same way. Tidwell was up here earlier. I do believe he's been starting in Sacramento more than relieving. I think they might just go with Foley. Foley's now healthy. So we'll see what the move is if Peguero gets hurt, if he goes on the IL with that leg injury.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a chance to see him in the Giants uniform. Well, thanks, and happy Sunday to you, Bill. I'll let you get to
Mike,
the next
thanks for the call. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Mike. You always bring up some good points, and he's absolutely right. We just don't know if Peguero will go on the IL. They'll have to make a quick move and get somebody to Milwaukee. If it was a cramp, which could happen in Colorado because of the elevation, sometimes you just run and all of a sudden your hamstring cramps up. But the way he was walking, just like Mike referenced, it looked like it could be that same hamstring that he injured in spring training, because he would have made this club out of spring training. But that hamstring injury, it took him down for a few months, and he's back throwing 102, 103. Love watching that. A little bit more strikes would be nice, but he's definitely electric. All right, let's go to Bar Fighter. He's in San Jose. Bar Fighter, how are you doing on a Sunday, buddy?
So, proud and long-standing member of the Lunatic Fringe. All the lunatics before me, I salute you.
I salute them too, Bar Fighter. How are you today, buddy?
Hey, Primetime. Let John Miller know that I remember his debut on broadcast on TV on Channel 44 I think it was back
Really?
in like around 1976. Yeah, he was with Monty
Wow.
Moore, and he was doing Oakland A's games. Yeah.
That's exactly right. You're absolutely right. He started with the A's. Boy, he took off. He's such a good guy. He's such a guy. He's such knowledgeable. That's what's great about it.
No, he studies the game. That's what I love about him. He's a student of the game.
Fantastic. I love listening to him on radio. I mean, when he does solo, when he just talks all by himself, nothing against FP or the other analysts that work with him, he could do a game all day, just like Vince Scully. That's the kind of a guy that reminds me of a old-time announcer that takes care of the game and pictures that game on radio, just like if you're sitting there. That's what those guys do the best, and he's one of the best at it.
Yeah, I like the Cox move. It's kind of reminiscent of Al Rosen with Robbie Thompson. And if you could get Robbie Thompson an interview with him, that'd be cool.
Sure, Robbie will jump on with me anytime. I'd like to try to do, and you know what I try to do. I try to get players from other teams on. You know, I got a couple great interviews with some Cubs coming up. Give you a little quick one. Andre Dawson and I are going to talk next week. That should be a real fun one. And then Derek Lee.
The funeral guy.
And Derek Lee is also going to hook up with me. And two fantastic Cubs. Of course, Andre Dawson's in the Hall of Fame. And Derek Lee is from Sacramento. So looking forward to talking to both those guys this week.
Tell Andre when I kick the bucket that he'll be my funeral arranger.
Oh, thanks. Real funny, bar fighter. Real funny. Yeah, I'm definitely going to tell Andre that, right? Hawk, bar fighter wants me to tell you this. Yeah, sure, bar fighter.
But yeah, at least there is some brim of hope. They're obviously the Giants. They're a slow train to nowhere. So this year, but the Eldridge thing, the Cox thing, Rosen.
Daniel Susak, you got to throw Susak in there too. Bar fighter, throw Susak in there because he's not catching. He's catching daily now. We're starting to hit the ball a little better. He got a little funk. Got hit in the head hard today, man. That stunned him. And when you see the replay of it, it hits him right in that forehead, right on the side of the forehead. I don't care if it's a curveball, a changeup, or a fastball, man, that stuns you. And then when he was standing there, I was like, dude, take him out of the game. But he shook it off, and it's not, I think John Miller said it the best. He goes, it's not now, it's in a couple hours, it's in 6 hours, it's tomorrow morning. That's when the head starts shaking and the concussion starts coming out. So they'll definitely keep an eye on him.
Yeah, but I do like the call up with Cox and inserting Eldridge into the lineup. I think it should have been done earlier with Eldridge. I think it should have been done on day one, but I'm not going to.
I think so.
I'm not going to
getting his bat in the
that.
lineup. Yeah, Barfighter, getting his lineup in and getting him in the lineup every day. Lefty or righty, he can hit lefties, he can hit righties. He's comfortable at the plate now. You can see how he's watching the ball better. His extension now is so beautiful when he swings. I love the side view when they take it from like the visiting side where they're looking at him from that view. Just the compact, the 6'7" with the knee up, the knee down, and the arms come through. That ball he smoked in center field, that ball was hit big time. And he's had a couple of them like that. You remember the one at Oracle all the way in Triples Alley. He gets extension and the arms and the shoulders, the waist. I mean, he gets beautiful swings off, and I love watching him hit.
No, he's got a great eye. He centers his eye on the ball. It's like what Willie said. Willie Mays, the great 24, he said, see ball, hit ball.
It's true. It's so true.
And that's what you do. I mean, it's not nuclear science or anything. It's just basically, see ball, hit ball, see ball, catch ball, throw ball. I mean, it's just it can be a somewhat complicated game. It's a slow game, and a lot of people like basketball, football because it's more, hit, dunk, and everything. But baseball is more of it's a slow game. But when it gets moving, it gets moving fast. And what I love about baseball is how many games have a bat.
Have a bat? Is that what you said? Have a
Yeah.
bat?
You
a
get,
bat
you
and a
get
ball?
to,
That's what
you get to
baseball
swing
is.
you get to swing a piece of wood.
I got you, bar fighter. Bar fighter, I lost you right there. I was listening, all of a sudden it kind of ended there with the bat. But we're all good, bar fighter. It's all good.
You get a large piece of wood, and there's a projectile coming at you, and you hit it.
Very good. Well, thank you, bar fighter, for explaining the game of baseball. You have a good rest of Sunday, my friend. It's always great catching up with you. Let's go to Concord and talk to Bob. Bob, you're on an extra inning post-game show. Giants wallop the ball today, 19 runs, 25 hits. We need to see a little bit more of that, Bob.
I know. Maybe they could spread it out across multiple games. It's like, how about you hit like 6 or 8 per game? I don't know. Just a suggestion. But, yeah, it was exciting. I think Friday or Saturday night, the one they lost in the 9th inning, I was sitting out at my fire pit, and having a drink, listening to the game. Like, this is really great. And then it just, like, fell apart. It's like, But
yeah, the gut punch bottom of the 9th innings. Bob, those gut punches, 5 walk-offs against them this year. Those are just total gut punches. You don't see it coming. You're not thinking about it, and all of a sudden it happens. And on the field, it's devastating. In the dugouts, the same way. And as us as fans, you just go, wow, I can't believe that just happened. And you take the game away. Of course, that home run by Goodman tied the game up. And, of course, Tovar comes in 2 hitters later and wins it. It was something that I didn't see coming. And I'm sure you didn't see either, Bob. And no doubt about it, Caleb Killian didn't see it coming either until he threw the pitch.
No, it's one thing if you go into the 9th and you're up by 1 or 2, it's like that that's dicey, But when you're up, I think they're up by like 4 or something. Yeah, that's tough. But one thing I wanted to say, Bill, I wanted to thank you for how you treat all your callers. Last week,
thanks,
I was mowing the lawn, listening, and you had this young boy call in, I don't know, 10 or 12, and you were asking him what he thought of things, and it was just great radio. I just loved hearing this kid talk about, what he thought about the game, and it was just, I don't know, I was like, man, this is great radio. So,
well,
really
it's so important, and I say this, Bob, and you'll understand it. It's so important for younger kids with their parents there to call in the show and talk baseball. A couple calls, a few times here and there. Yeah, you got to kind of ask them simple questions to kind of get them comfortable. But at the same time, they're watching the game. They understand the game. And why not talk about it with them so they're comfortable about talking about it? I had a caller, was maybe 8 or 9 years old. He's now 16 or 17 now, and he's fabulous at what he's doing now. He was in grade school. He went through high school. He called me almost every other Sunday or every other Saturday, and we talked forever. And I got to meet him. His mom brought him over here on the peninsula. We had lunch. The kid just looked at me the whole time in lunch, and we just talked baseball. And it's not about me being a big leaguer. It's about you understanding the game and passing the torch on to these kids. And if I can pass the torch on to them to understand the game, learn the game, and then play the game, man, that's what I want to do. And you took it, just like listening to it, that's what I want them to be. Feel comfortable to talk to Bill, because I'm not going to embarrass him. I want to know what you know about the game, and then tell me what you know about the game.
Yeah, and all these every time you've had a kid call in, he's not being silly. These kids, like, they know what they're talking about.
They're serious.
They play,
they are,
and they're serious about the game, and I just think that's great. So, all right, well, I'll go. I got to go mow my lawn and now listen to some other people.
All right, Bob. Well, thanks for the call, and keep your headset on. We'll have some more calls coming in. All right, let's go to Rick. He's in Hayward. Rick, you're on a Sunday edition of Extra Innings. How are you doing today, buddy?
Well, I'm glad that they won today. It took the sour taste out of my mouth from the weekend.
For the last 5 days? The last 6 days.
Yeah,
they had Thursday off.
6 days. No, let's just say the whole month of May. I mean, the whole month of May was a disaster.
Well,
10 and 18.
let me throw this to you, Rick.
unacceptable.
Let me throw this, Rick. I think you and I were talking maybe the weekend when they played the Sacramento Athletics. They won 2 out of 3, and they were 20 and 27 at that time. And I think you and I, or maybe somebody else, I was saying, this is the time of the schedule where you had 6 against Arizona, 3 against the White Sox, and 3 against Colorado, where I thought they could make a move to be 500. And I thought the schedule was open for them to do it. And they went to Arizona, boom, 3 losses. They go to Chicago. They play Chicago at home. They rally and win 2 out of the 3. So they're kind of rallying. But, man, those last 5 losses in a row was a gut punch. And to watch this team that I felt they were going to get to 500, 2-9, it was very disappointing.
Yeah, just the whole month, and it's twofold, Bill. It's not just the hitting; it's the pitching. The pitching for the month has been disastrous. The
Starting
ERA
pitching.
is at 4.85 for the whole ERA. For starters, it's 5.3, and for relievers, it's 4.22. And the WHIP isn't much better. I mean, you can't
that
have
bullpen
Killian
number
be
came
closer.
up too, didn't it? The bullpen numbers were pretty
Yeah.
good at one time, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, whammo! This week kind of tore them up.
Well, I'm not going to use Killian's last outing on Friday as his benchmark for the month, but he pitched in 11 games. He had a 5.23 ERA before the Friday game, and I don't know. I haven't finished watching the game yet. I tape it and watch it, so I don't even know if he pitched today. But the bottom line is,
Yeah, he did.
for the
He pitched
11
1 inning
innings-
today,
he did
punched
pitch?
out 2. Yeah, he pitched 1
Okay.
inning, punched
So
out 2,
before-
and go ahead.
Look what we had. No, but before the game then today, he had a 9 ERA in 11 outings and gave up runs in 5 of those 11 outings. And basically, he can't be a closer. So then you look at the rest of the pitchers. Now, Biguero got hurt today. Obviously, he can't be the closer now. So who do we have coming in for the closer? Because I count 8 games this year where if we had a closer and a setup man, we would have won those games probably. I count Friday's game for sure as a game that we would have won. This is just, I look at now and
That's
I say,
what they
this
have,
season
though,
is
Rick.
lost.
That's the issue of it. That's what they have, and what can you change? What can Eric Miller could be a closer as a lefty? Hedges should have come in maybe Friday before the bomb hit off. It's a couple things here and there that could have been used at a lefty-righty combination instead of just bringing Caleb in for that full 9th inning. They had 2 lefties out of the first 3 hitters he faced. He had Hedges up, and then he didn't bring him in. Some of the moves when they're flip-flopping guys like that, I just don't understand why they're not doing it to lefty, righty, righty. And they put Caleb into this situation with Susak behind the plate, 2 rookies. And if you would have seen him today throwing compared to what he did the other day, he maybe threw 1 breaking ball, and it was all 96, 95 fastballs on the corner, punched a couple guys out, elevated fastball. And watching games in Colorado, you have to go with fastballs or changeups as your number 1 and 2 and not breaking balls. Too many mistakes breaking balls in Colorado. They just don't break. They're not sharp.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that then, because somebody's got Tony's ear. I mean, I'm sure Tony's not just sitting there by himself without taking counsel from his pitching coach. And I mean, Justin Message has to be more forceful in these situations and say, granted, now the rules are different. If you bring in a left-hander to start the inning and like you're saying, 2 out of the 3 of the first batters are left-handed, then you walk the right-handed pitch hitter if you don't want to face. You get there's ways of getting around that, especially in today's baseball. But I just these moves, and I'm not blaming Tony. I think that basically this falls on Buster and it falls on ownership.
Well, I'm gonna stop right there, Rick. Hold on. I just want to stop you right here. And I've heard it time and time again that nobody wants to blame Tony. Everybody's saying, hey, it's not Tony's fault. Well, Tony's your manager. He's got to take some falls for what he's doing. He's taking a lineup. He's writing his own lineup up. He's using his bullpen. There's some blame that's got to be on Tony Vitello. You're 23 and 36. You got to blame everybody. You just can't blame, it's the players. You got to blame the manager. You got to blame the pitching coach, the hitting coach. It's all in one nucleus. And that's why I want people to stop saying we don't want to blame him. Yeah, you got to blame everybody because it's the whole team effort. It's the chemistry of the team. And your leader, Tony Vitello, is doing what he's supposed to do as the captain of the ship, steering the ship. And he's going to take blame for it. You know he's going to. And I understand when people say, well, this is what Buster gave him. This is what he needed to do. This is his team. Well, if I'm a captain of the ship, there's somehow, some way, if I'm going to win games, I got to drive this ship different. I got to use different theories. I got to use different ways to win a game. So I'm blaming everybody, not just the hitters and pitchers.
I hear you, Bill. I hear you, but here's what I have to say about that. I don't agree that that Tony writes the lineup on his own. I think he gets about 40 people's help with his reports that he gets before the game, and those are analytic reports that he gets before the game. And I think this lineup is created highly by analytics. And unfortunately,
I'll agree on that because I really think that's how all lineups are generated. I think all the lineups in Major League Baseball, minor leagues are all generated through analytics. It's not what he did yesterday. It's what did he do against this pitcher tomorrow that's going to get him in a game.
And I don't agree with that at all. I think that if a player's hot, you play the hot line, in. And you don't follow the analytics to the T. And that okay, I do blame that on Tony, and I do blame that on the line on the field management. They have to be more thoughtful. I always thought Tony was a teacher, and coming in, I was questioning how is a teacher going to teach 30-year-olds. You know, I thought, hey.
But Rick, you're right. I mean, it's a total different way to manage a game in college. It's a whole different way to manage young kids. It's a whole different way to manage who you're bringing in recruiting than getting a team with major league players that have been in the big leagues 8, 9, 7 years, and they have contracts that are worth millions of millions, and you have to somehow put it all together and get them to play at the top-notch way of their career. It's a whole different way of teaching. It's a whole different way of managing. I don't know what happens in that clubhouse. You don't know what happens in that clubhouse. Only that team does. And that's kind of why I want to circle back when people say it's not Tony's fault. It is his fault. It's everybody's fault. And when you say everybody, it's every person that's in that clubhouse that's wearing a uniform, that's giving them information. They have to get better in producing these lineups. I agreed what he did today. I'm glad he changed this lineup. I'm glad he moved some people around. He's got to continue to do it and not just keep throwing the same 9 every time. And you and I have talked about this, Rick. He has to change it up here and there.
Yeah, it won't. Let's face it. There's like maybe a 5% chance we're going to get to even 500 this year now with the amount of wins we're going to have to get in the next 4 months. I mean, especially with these next 7 games coming up here. We played the patsy on this schedule. Now we're going to face the real teams. And if we win 3 out of the next 7, I'll be surprised. And I'm not.
It's going to be a battle.
Downer.
It is going to be a battle. And Milwaukee's tough.
I mean,
Milwaukee's tough.
Yeah, like you said, we played the patsies on our schedule, and what do? We went 2-9 against them. So now,
and that's exactly right. And it fooled me. It fooled you too, Rick, because after the athletic series, I'm like, here we go. This is a time to flip this over, and it backfired. 3-9-12 is not going to make you and me thinking, hey, this team's going to go now. Well, now you're going to face the Milwaukees, the Cubs, Atlanta. This is going to be a tough month of June, and they got to put the big boy shoes on and go at it. But we'll find out, Rick. That's what's great about the game of baseball. The month of May is over. We start the month of June, and now we start getting into summer months. But, Rick, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend, and you be well in Hayward. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Take a quick minute break. Got some more calls on hold. 415-808-KNBR if you want to continue the conversation. I'm Bill Laskey. We'll be right back on KNBR, the sports leader.
At the warning track, and it's into the Christmas tree farm.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 6.8, the sports leader.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show on a Sunday evening, Giants finally get a win on this 10-game road trip as they take the third game of a 3-game series against the Rockies, and they pounded them pretty good today. 19 runs on 25 hits, made 3 errors, and man, Robbie Ray just could not get any easy innings today. He ended up throwing 96 pitches in 4 innings, And in the fourth inning, he made 2 errors on 1 ball, and I know he's scratching his head. How in the hell did I do that? A ball that was hit up to him, the bat was cracked, and I think he saw the bat kind of in the corner of his eye as he dropped the ball, and then he went to pick it up, and he airmailed Devers at first, and ended up scoring 2 runs, and got out of that inning with 31 pitches. And he just couldn't go any further. He had already thrown 96 pitches, 59 for strikes. And as I mentioned this earlier, sometimes he gets a lot of hitters that hit foul balls. Today, 27 foul balls hit off of him. And that's 27 pitches out of the 96 pitches that really was just a foul ball and meant nothing. So somehow, some way, he's got to come up with a better pitch selection. He couldn't get that put-out pitch today. And something, Colorado's tough to pitch. It's a hard way to throw a curveball, and he has a nice knuckle curveball, has that sharp slider. It's just tough to add those pitches in when the breaks aren't as natural as they are in Oracle or other ballparks away from the elevation of Colorado. Tristan Beck got called up today. He had a tough inning, but, man, he traveled all the way from, I think it was Reno, so he got an inning in. Caleb Killian got back out there after the rough inning he had in the 9th inning, threw a nice 1 inning, got one walk, 2 strikeouts. And Joe Pagera got in there, and we don't know what the injury, if it's an injury or a cramp. It looked like it could be a hamstring. He limped off the field. Let's hope it was a cramp because of the elevation, and he's fine to go in Milwaukee. And then JT Brubaker, man, he is just the guy that can throw shutout innings, and he came in and shut him out for an inning and 2/3, not even warming up. He had warm-up pitches on the mound. That's very difficult to do and be ready to pitch. But JT Brubaker's been, man, a Swiss Army knife down in that bullpen, and he's got, a couple outings where he's gone 3 innings, 2 innings, done a great job for the Giants down in the bullpen. 415-808-KMBR. We're going to take a couple more calls before we go to Kyle Haynes, the Senior Director of Player Development. Let's go to Big Sam. He's in Lake Merced. How you going, Sam?
Hey, Bruce. How you doing, Bill? How's everything, brother?
Well, you know what? When they win games like this, everybody participated. Everybody got an RBI. 11 hitters went up there. Jonah Cox got a base hit or a double off the player. But you know what? It was a time that these hitters had to get a couple hits. And, man, Jung-Hoo Lee is just hot right now, 5 for 6 today. And I think you, as well as me and all these other Giants fans, are loving Blake Eldridge get in this lineup every day. And he performed well today also.
You know what? It makes for a better show. And you know what? I did a little bit of extra cardio today. I just came back from, Lenardi's did the hike in, our favorite area. That I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to the game. I'm going to go up there for an hour. And you know what? Darn it. They put up almost 20 runs. And you know what? I'm going to go back more than 15 years, Bill. And I think what might ignite them, and look, there's still 100-plus games left, but they were in Colorado, I believe, 4th of July weekend, and they battled and battled and battled, and they got beat up and destroyed. It was the first year of 2010 that they won the World Series. After that, and you remember what year I'm talking about. They were in a funk. They were in a big struggle, and they went to Colorado and won that game. And since then, I want to say that was end of June, 4th of July, and an All-Star game. They just hit hot. They just won something like 35 out of their last, 60 games or something like that. And
well, Big Sam, we've been talking about this, Sam. All the callers every weekend's been saying, when is this going to happen? And you see it, you know it, you read it on, all the lineup cards, you look at their baseball cards. They have it in them. It's just getting the right order and getting that knick-knack and getting on and moving a guy over, like the Bruce Bochy line. Get on, move him over, get him in, keep the line moving. And today they did that. And what I liked about it, Big Sam, 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, they scored every inning. And that's what makes a good team. Keep coming at you. Keep gut punching you. Keep, throwing a sucker punch at you. And they did that today. And they did it from 1 through 9. That's what makes a team turning around.
And, Bill, maybe this win today maybe does ignite. I mean, I'm going to take a page out of a 1989 movie when the late Margaret Whitten, played by Rachel Phelps, was going to sell the team, and the late James Gannon is in the office with Charlie Donovan, who's played by Charlie Cyphers, and they're like a game or two out of 500, and they have a little midway season. He said, "We're starting to come together, Charlie. We're starting to come together," and I always look at that on every year the Giants play, and maybe this is it. Maybe somehow they hit fire. They spark, and they say, "Look, damn it, we're pros here. We just scored 20 runs today. I mean, we got it in us. Let's try to chip away. I mean, look, just a couple weeks ago, I look at the NL West box score. The Padres were ahead of the Dodgers. Now they're quickly, just how quickly, it's 6 games behind.
Well, the other thing, too, is they've played 10 straight games against the NL West, and we're 0-10. And that was up till yesterday. And that's something you got to stop. You have to stop those losing streaks. Losing 6 straight games to Arizona, you got to stop it. You got to somehow win 1 or 2 in there to break that up. It goes back to that Dodgers series when they won the first 2 and lost the last 2. They lost 10 straight, Big Sam, in the NL West. And that's why they're down where Colorado is. And this team is way much better than the Rockies. The Rockies are in a rebuild. They have a different energy, no question. But this Giants team hit, and we've seen them hit. And this is a good mark of it, that they can hit. So let's hopefully they take this momentum and get into Milwaukee and get it on sooner than later. Give Landon Roop some breathing room. Give Trevor McDonald some breathing room. Give Logan Webb some breathing room. Because the starting pitching, they've been short. They have not gone lengthy for a while. And I think that's one big thing that I'm watching in the pitching staff. That's got to get better. The only way it's going to get better, Big Sam, score them some runs and let them go out there breathing a little easier than 1 run, 2 runs. Get them 4 or 5 runs. Let them go out and have some easy innings.
You could definitely see complete frustration on the face of Logan Webb, on the face of Landon Roop, on the face of Robbie Ray. And, I mean, if this today and upcoming plethora of games against competitive teams, I don't want to see 0 for 3. I don't want to see 1 for 3. Let's see 2 out of 3. Take the series, because sooner or later, come July, for end of June, I mean, I took a month off because I had a bet with a friend from grade school. I said, I will not talk Giants baseball for the entire month of May, just to see where they are. And if they can just light something, give me some kind of campfire light and light up in the month of June. Bill, let's hope we can catch up together, man. I really miss you, my brother. Hope we can link up and have a great rest of the show. I can't wait for the Andre Dawson interview. He was one of my favorite players.
He was a teammate of mine, Big Sam. I played with him with the Expos, so I reached out to him, and he's all in favor of. Derek Lee's going to be a good one. Of course, he's Sacramento native up there, and Cubs are coming in this weekend, so some good interviews down the road. But, Sam, thanks for the call, and you take care, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's go to Berkeley and talk to Andrea. Andrea, are you flying to Milwaukee as we talk, or are you in Milwaukee already?
I'm just celebrating a Sunday fun day. I'm just so happy that the Giants won in such dramatic fashion. First things first, happy Gemini birthday to Dave Fleming, and very auspicious to have your birthday on the full moon. And I finally got to incorporate once in a blue moon, the Giants score 19 runs and have 25 hits. So that was nice.
I love that one. That's a great one. You threw that to me last night, and I was laughing when I got off air. The blue moon is rising, and they got to play better, right?
Right. And the Giants' run total on 25 hits, I did some research, were the team's most since a 23-5 win at Colorado in September 1st, 2020. When they had 27
that's a
hits.
good one.
Yeah. So
Andrea, they made the moves today. Jonah Cox, I know you listened to the interview I had a couple weekends ago, and what it shows me is here's a guy busting his tail. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're in Richmond. Not too many jumps from Double-A to the big leagues. Not too many. You've had a few, maybe a handful of guys. But it shows the players that, hey, if I'm competing, people are watching me. Randy Wynn watched him, no doubt about it. Kyle Haynes watched him. And guys are watching them. Their eyes are watching them to see if they can take that jump. When you're hitting over 400 and you have over 25 steals, that league, the Eastern League, is a tough little Double-A league. It's showing those players in that clubhouse, hey, this can happen to me. All I got to do is keep playing. And that's a big sign for minor leaguers.
Yes, I was very happy to see him get his first hit, and he had 60 people in the stands, and he's a young, enthusiastic Leo, August 4th, 2001. Bryce Eldridge, how dramatic was that? That home run that went into the Christmas tree farm. He was fourth.
Wasn't that great? I didn't hear that one. That was a good one from John Miller, right?
It was. It was a very good one. And Bryce Eldridge, I've been a big fan. I've been wanting him to come up to the major leagues for a while. So glad he finally has his chance. He's October 20th, 2004. I've always, so Bryce Eldridge had a very memorable day. And, hey, fellow Virgo Willie Adames. We like our Grand Slams. And he's
he's going to Milwaukee now, so he's going back to where it started for him. And these are always big series when you go back at home where you play where you were, and now you're competing against him. Last year he did it. They gave him a standing ovation. He was very well liked in Milwaukee. But hey, the Brewers are playing well, Andre, and Kyle Harrison. He's got a whole different level of pitching. 6-1 with a 1.57 earned run average. The velocity's back. The breaking ball's back, and he's now throwing a changeup more than he did when he was here.
Interesting. Yeah. Should be a competitive series. I look forward to it. And it was just really a very dramatic win, I got to say. 19-6 with 25 hits. That really is one.
I wish we could see that more often, right, Andrea? See some double-digit runs and some hits like this, and a little easier to watch, and knowing they're going to win this game and move forward. And they definitely needed this after a 5-game losing streak. But we'll find out, Andrea. We'll find out if they're going to fly into Milwaukee or not. Bring that sage. But right now, I think they changed their luck coming into today's game.
Definitely bring that sage.
Well, you have a great rest of this Sunday, Andre. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Sunday.
Take care. All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back with more right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey on the Sports Leader, KNBR.
You're listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning post-game show on a Sunday. Giants win today in Colorado 19-6. They take the third game of a 3-game series. 7 more left on this road trip. 4 in Milwaukee, and then next weekend they play the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley Field, and Extra Innings will be on both of those shows. Got some great guests coming up. Today, just everything worked. Everything from the first inning through the ninth inning. When you hit 25 home runs, you hit 9 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs, and one of the home runs was a grand slam, and that was by Willie Adames. That's his 6th grand slam in his career. That's the 4th grand slam by the Giants this year, 2 by Harrison Bader, 1 by Rafael Devers, and now 1 by Willie Adames. So the home run ball was flying out of Colorado, and when you score 19 runs, that flight to Milwaukee's got a little less pressure, breaking that 5-game losing streak. So tomorrow, first pitch is at 4:40. Of course, they'll be in Milwaukee. Landon Roop takes the hill. In 11 starts, he's 5-5 with a 3.3 earned run average, 60 innings pitched, 49 hits, 68 strikeouts, 22 walks. His last outing, he got a loss against the Diamondbacks, going 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. In the month of May, he pitched well, but he didn't have wins. He was 0-4 with a 4.3 earned run average in 5 starts in the month of May, 24 2/3 innings pitched, 31 hits, 12 earned runs, 8 walks, 31 strikeouts. So he starts the month of June, and the Giants jump into June 1st tomorrow. Shane Drohan's pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's been pitching out of the bullpen, 11 games pitched, 1 start only. The 27-year-old lefty, 2-1 with a 2.6 earned run average, 27 1/3 innings pitched, 22 hits, one home run given up. He doesn't walk a lot of hitters, 8 walks with 28 strikeouts. So a lefty against Landon Roop tomorrow, Shane Drohan. Coming up next, I sat down with Drew Cavanaugh, a prospect now playing in AAA with the Sacramento River Cats. In 119 at-bats, he's hitting .328, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. A left-handed hitter and a right-handed catcher. Coming up next, Drew Cavanaugh and I sit down, and Giants fans get to know a prospect. He might be in a Giants uniform and the season is over. Drew Cavanaugh and I, next on the Extra Inning post-game show right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Post-Game Show with Bill Laskey. I'm honored to have a guest on. I love talking to top prospects, and we're going to Sacramento and talk to Drew Kavanaugh. Drew, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Bill. How you doing today?
I appreciate your time, Drew, as always. And you ended up coming from Richmond up to Sacramento. Of course, a new manager in Dennis Pelfrey. Tell me a little bit about him and how he's managing this Richmond Flying Squirrels team as they are playing real well.
Yeah, I had a little bit with Pelfrey last year towards the end of the year. I got called up for the last 3 weeks, so I was a little familiar with him, and I loved his coaching style and how he's all about the work, man. He really focuses on just developing players, and he was an unbelievable manager.
Well, now you come up to Sacramento. A good friend of mine, Dave Brundage, has been there a while, a veteran manager. What is the difference you see, and how do you like Dave so far?
One difference that I notice is just the everyday stuff. There's a lot of guys here that have major league time and have had a lot of stints there, so there's a different proponent to dealing with those guys, and I've loved playing for Dave. He's been awesome. I had a couple call-ups to fill in a couple times in the last few years, but so I'm familiar with him a little bit, but I got nothing but good things to say about him. He's been a great manager.
Well, two good managers for a great foundation for you. Let's go back in time. You grew up in Michigan. You ended up going to IMG Academy. When did you go to Florida? When did all that happen? And tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, it happened my senior year. I was at a showcase my junior year, and IMG reached out, and they liked what they saw, and they reached out, and I hopped on the opportunity. I couldn't skip out on that. And my childhood, I grew up in Rochester Hills, Michigan, like 45 minutes north of Detroit. Went to high school at Stony Creek before attending IMG, and I love Michigan. Nothing but good things to say about that. I got two brothers, Brock and Tommy, and great parents with Julie and Tom.
Well, Drew, I grew up in Ohio, so we got that battle line between Ohio State and Michigan. We'll battle on.
You're an Ohio State fan?
A big-time Ohio State fan. Come on now, you know that. OH10, come on.
I'm a Michigan State fan, so hopefully we can find
some there we go. Ground. So we'll go to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
Drew, I want to go back a little bit. You know, growing up in Michigan as I am in Ohio, spring baseball is difficult. You're dealing with cold weather. You're dealing with hard fields. That had to make some kind of change to go to Florida. Is that kind of a thought pattern also?
Yeah, that was definitely a big thought with that. I wanted to play through all the seasons, and it's hard to do in those spring and fall times, but that was huge, and ended up going to Eastern Florida State out of IMG, and that was a great opportunity that I had there.
Well, what's great about it, Drew, is I went to a junior college also, and you did too, and you get time to play. You were the MVP at IMG, and it opened up eyes in Florida for you. Playing at a JUCO, it gets you to play more. You're advancing yourself and just the playing time. Was that one of the reasons why you went there?
That was definitely a big reason. I had conversations with a couple Division I schools, and the playing time was limited. And when Eastern Florida reached out, they said, "Hey, you're going to play," and I just wanted to play baseball. So that was a huge reason why.
Well, you ended up going to Florida Southern, and really a good move for you. You ended up I would say your junior year, you hit 316, 12 home runs, 6 doubles, 42 RBIs. the catching position really well, throwing guys out. You had over a 990 fielding percentage. When you make that jump, there are things you have to adjust to. What were some of the first thoughts you did?
Yeah, some of the first things were just focusing a little bit more on the craft and like the fine details and things. Not I remember like even in my Eastern Florida days, I was just like focusing on the big picture things and being able to go to Florida Southern and work with Lance Negros. It was really good to just be able to lock in on certain small things, and that kind of helped going into pro ball as well.
Drew Kavanaugh joining me on the Extra Inning Postgame Show, a catcher, and you have to refine your craft as a catcher. 21 caught stealing, just fantastic array of runners trying to steal on you, and of course the percent was great. Again, we make those adjustments going into a tougher league. Runners are quicker. You got to look for a whole new pitching staff. A lot of information coming at you, and you gravitated it very well. How did you obtain all that?
Yeah, just trusting trusting the process and working on it day by day. Just really getting to know the pitchers and their tendencies on certain counts and certain times in the game. That's a huge part of being able to manage that and them. But yeah, I would just say trusting the work that I've put in and being able to capitalize on those opportunities.
I want to ask you about the summer ball program. I've never heard of it. The Florida Collegiate Summer League. Is that mostly for top players in Florida as college? Tell me a little bit about that summer league because you played there a couple years.
Yeah, so I my older brother, Tommy Kavanaugh, was doing an internship there as a broadcaster, and they were looking for a catcher, and he reached out to their coach for me, and they were excited to have me, and I got to play for Rich Billings for the Leesburg Lightning.
And it worked out for you. You got to play a summer league, which I think a lot of college kids just don't get to do. And again, you're playing every day in a situation to grow and to play more. Was it a tough league? Was it a above average type summer league?
Yeah, it was definitely above average type summer league. There was every guys from big Division ones to small JUCO and NAIA schools, so it was just a big combination of every kind of guy. So it was cool. I met a lot of good people there and a lot of good relationships.
Well, a lot of praises come out of Florida Southern Defensive Player of the Year, All Southern First Team, and you ended up getting drafted by the San Francisco Giants. Excited at that time, ready to go to pro ball. Were you a little nervous about maybe taking the next jump?
Yeah, I was definitely excited. That when you get your name called, it's definitely exciting. And then 3 or 4 hours later, you're told you're flying out the next day to go to Arizona, and it really hits at that point, and you're like, "Oh, here we go." So I was definitely a little nervous, but definitely more excited than nervous.
Drew Kavanaugh joining me on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Of course, he is playing with the Sacramento River Cats in Sacramento, doing a great job. Also, we go to back to Double A real quick. You hit 279 in 22 games. Now you come up to Triple A, and you're mashing the ball. With difference in pitching, of course, you said you were at Triple A a couple times, Double A a couple times. What is that jump between Double A and Triple A in the pitching aspect?
Yeah, I would say the jump isn't as big as a jump as I thought high A to double A was. I think that jump was a little bit bigger, but guys here are definitely better pitchers because they have better plans. I think that when facing guys here, they know what they want to do and they execute it most of the time.
Now, Drew, one of the positives I think in you, you hit left-handed. Of course, a right-handed thrower. Left-handed catchers are a premium. Is that something that you're striving on to work a little bit harder on it? I mean, you're hitting fourth in the lineup. You got good power numbers. Something that you're learning from the left-hand side in AAA.
Yeah, I'm definitely just being a little bit more aggressive early in counts. A lot of guys here try to get ahead with the off speed and just to get to that 0-1. And if I can be a little bit more aggressive early, I think that's been helping me out too.
Well, you hit gaps. You hit 7 doubles in Double A. You hit 7 doubles in Triple A so far. Home run balls. You got 7 total. Again, gap to gap, line to line. It's always great to go the opposite way. Again, I'm going to ask you this again. How hard is that for you to do at the Triple A level? Going the opposite way, staying in the zone a little bit deeper when the ball's coming in to go the opposite way, because that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, it's tough, but it all just goes back to the work. We're working with our hitting coach PJ and being able to really work on taking that pitch in the outer half the other way.
Hey, Drew, catching a new pitching staff, you saw him in spring training, you see him now day to day. What is the hard part about it? And is there more of a setup between the game, talking to the pitcher in game? What is it about you as a new catcher gravitating on some of the things that pitchers like to throw?
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed has been the setup. Certain guys like certain setups in certain spots, and if I don't get there, they'll let me know, which is good, which is good information to have. So I'll write that down and make sure that I get to that spot for them. So it's a lot of setup things and a lot of get to know the guys' personalities too. That's a huge part as well. Getting to know how to treat certain guys. Do you need to be lighter with somebody? Do you need to get on somebody a little tougher? But that just comes with time, and I think that it's becoming better.
Yeah, it does, and a lot of communication with them. I always thought, I played big league baseball, the communication in between innings, what's working, what's not. Did the umpire miss that pitch? Those are all things pitchers always want to know, and I think that opens up doors for you to get to know them a little more.
Exactly. That's definitely been a big part, especially with all the information we have now with the ABS system. I can know if a pitch is a ball or a strike and before the next pitch is thrown.
A few more minutes with Drew Kavanaugh as we get to know him a little bit more. Let's talk away from baseball. What are some of the things you like to relax? What do you like to watch? Some of the things that you do away from the game.
Yeah, I love to hang out with my brothers. In this season, it's been in the baseball season, especially the minor league season, it's a lot of time away from family and loved ones. So it's good to go back in Michigan and see them. Also, my girlfriend's in Arizona. I like to go out. I'll go see her for a little bit, and we'll do fun things like hiking and just fun stuff away from baseball. But usually just family and friends in the off season.
Now, it says you like the game of basketball. Did you play that in high school? Did you put the ball down once you went to IMG, or you still shoot around once in a while?
Yeah, I'll go play. I played on a really really good travel team growing up. I think we were number one in the state of Michigan for two or 3 years. So I played a lot of travel basketball growing up. But yeah, after my sophomore year, it was time to put it down. I wasn't. People were jumping a lot higher than me. Let's say that.
Well, Drew, when you put the headphones on, what kind of music you like to listen to? What pumps you up in the game?
I like all music. Right now, I've been diving into like older hip hop and R&B. So I've been hopping around a little bit of everything.
So I got to ask you: are you Chef Kavanaugh when you get into the kitchen? Do you like to get in there and cook and barbecue?
Yeah. I try my best. I can cook up a little bit of food, but nothing, nothing crazy. I keep it simple. We have a great chef in Sacramento, and that helps out a lot.
Well, let me ask you: favorite food? If you're going to go out to dinner with your girlfriend, where do you go?
I am going steak or sushi. It just depends on the day, but definitely definitely one of those
That's
two.
a flip right there, huh?
Well,
Steak or sushi?
yeah.
Video games? You play video games, Drew? Are
Good
you a video
sushi
guy?
or a really? No, not really. I don't really play that many video games.
All right, let me throw you one other one. Do you like to read
Yeah.
books? Do you like to engage in reading?
I'm not the biggest reader, but I have this notebook that I'm always at throughout the day or throughout the game. So that's where I get my my writing in.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Drew. All the best of luck in Sacramento, and a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.
That was Drew Kavanaugh on the Extra Inning Post Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the Extra Inning postgame show on a Sunday. Great interview there with Drew Kavanaugh, doing really well in AAA. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Kyle Haynes. Of course, he's the Senior Director of Player Development. But first, we got to recap a little bit about what happened today in Colorado. The Giants won that game 19-6. 19 runs, 25 hits, 3 errors. And 3 of those errors, 2 of them when Robbie ran one play, kind of strange there. But they came back and really played well today. The bats came alive when you hear 25 hits, and they had 50 at-bats. So listen to that one. 25 at-bats and 25 hits and 50 at-bats, and they scored 19 runs, 18 RBIs. 11 hitters went up for the Giants. 10 of them all got RBIs. The only one that didn't was Jonah Cox, who just got brought up. He ended up getting an at-bat in the 9th inning, getting a double off a player, but you know what? It's a big league knock, and he got his baseball for it. The Giants had 9 doubles today. They had 1 triple, 3 home runs, and one of those home runs was a grand slam by Willie Adames. A great job right there for the Giants as they now try to mount an attack on this 10-game road trip, 3 games in. Now they play the Milwaukee Brewers for 4 games in Milwaukee. They're on their flight going there. First pitch tomorrow, 4:40. Landon Roop on the hill, 5-5 with a 3.3 earned run average going against Shane Drohan. He's a reliever. He's getting a start. He's 2-1 with a 2.6. A left-hander, so we'll see what happens tomorrow right here at 4:40. Coming up next, I sit down with the Senior Director of Player Development. We talk about the minor leagues, what's good, and what they've been brewing, because it's getting a lot better this year as well as last year. Kyle Haynes and I talk about the Giants minor leagues coming up next right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. It's a pleasure to bring my guest on. He's been on the show before. He's the Senior Director of Player Development. Let's welcome in Kyle Haynes today. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing good, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, pleasure as always, and I got to congratulate you right off the bat. 2026 is going very well for the minor leagues. Every division is in first place. Sacramento, Richmond, Eugene, San Jose. Oh, boy, you're doing a good job there, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the bigger goal is to make sure we win in San Francisco, but it's nice that, you have players that are getting better, they're performing at their level they're asked to perform at, and also the learning how to win. I think that's a skill too, right? They're competing well and learning what first place feels like, so hopefully they get to the big leagues and, can kind of, make that happen in the major league locker room too and get used to winning.
Well, Kyle, last year the San Jose Giants won the division. They won championship. That's pretty cool, and that was a great lineup of players, and some of them moved up, some of them stayed in San Jose, but you had to have been pretty pleased with that outcome.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we had 5 teams make the playoffs last year. 2 lost in the championship series, and then San Jose was able to kind of finish it off and win that championship. And obviously, we'd have loved to have a couple more, but it was just a really good group from the start to the finish. They had good clubhouse chemistry, leadership from Dakota Jordan and some other players there. I thought they did a great job. Too many to name, to be honest, but they had a lot of great qualities to them, not just on the field but also off the field in the locker room. And it's a long year, even in the minor leagues, and the roster gets turned over a lot. And for the guys that were there all year, and then the guys who joined to kind of keep it rolling, that's really tough to pull off in the minor leagues because there's so much roster turnover throughout the year.
Kyle Haynes joined me on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. Let's talk about where you are. You're in Papago, which starts with the ACL League, and you have 2 fantastic shortstops down there, Mr. Hernandez, who's 17 years old, and Mr. Gonzalez, who's 18 years old. Tell me about these 2 young athletes, because I'm looking at numbers, and they are off the charts already.
Yeah, I mean, very high ceilings on both players. I kind of go into the category. I know it's the attention in the last few years, in particular on the lower levels of the minors, went to a level that historically has never been there. And in us, it's these players in particular, and we're really excited about having them. But I think they've just handled the attention so well and stayed focused on their development and performing. Whereas, I mean, Luis is 17 years old. I mean, can you imagine being 17 and what's being thrown on his shoulders and some of the comments, expectations, and to just stay focused every day has been a blessing. And then obviously they're playing against players many years older than them in some regards and playing extremely well. So yeah, Luis, Josh were, I think if anything, they've thrived when maybe others would panic and kind of worry about trying to live up to expectations at these ages here. I mean, 17, 18 years old, they could easily be in high school, so.
Well, what's good about it is you get to see the maturity out of them right then and daily at Papago, a great place to protect them, and they learn about being by themselves, being independent before they start their journey into the minor leagues. What do you guys do with those guys? How do you protect them, and how do you make them, gravitate each day to baseball?
Well, I mean, just you work on supporting them on and off the field the best you can. Everybody sees the box scores and everything. What they don't see is they're in a foreign country. I mean, Luis had never set foot in the United States until he flew in after, right before spring training, when he joined the spring training minor league camp there. And, it's a culture change. There's language barriers. There's food. It's not as easy for the Latin players to find food. And, a lot of people go off to college, have a similar thing. Now imagine doing that in a completely foreign culture, a foreign language, food, etc. It adds a lot of layers, and we do whatever we got to do to try and support them, and their teammates deserve a lot of credit too, because I think they do a great job of kind of forming some camaraderie to support them off the field, and that a better person off the field tends to be a better player on the field.
Well, Kyle, I want to jump to the Richmond Flying Squirrels. First of all, Carmack's Ballpark. I know you've probably visited it already. What a gorgeous facility, a brand new ballpark. I've not been there yet. I went to the Old Diamond. I pitched there. This ballpark looks new, renovated, and it seems like there's a lot of energy in there so far.
It's phenomenal. It's one of the better places, if not, it deserves, votes for maybe minor league stadium of the year, best ballpark, however you want to describe it. I think the atmosphere is phenomenal. As you know, the Diamond was always a great atmosphere. Those Richmond fans are fantastic. Yeah. I know it's a long ways away from the Bay Area, but they love their Giants there. They love the Flying Squirrels. They love our players, and it's a great baseball city and a great baseball atmosphere to start with, and then to add such a nice stadium for those fans to take the game in has been a blessing. And I don't think it's a coincidence. We've played well. Is that stadium and those fans have done a great job in lifting this team up.
Well, Kyle, last year, that was about the only division that really didn't play that well, and you've changed it. Of course, you put Dennis Pelfrey in there. Just a fantastic move there as a new manager. I had a chance to talk to Jonah Cox, and he's having a phenomenal year at Double-A. Parks Harbor, who was traded over in the Yankee trade. Bo Davidson is up there. This team is stacked with a lot of talent, and they're playing really well, over 30 wins so far, and everybody's bragging about the communication of Dennis Pelfrey. Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, he's really good about connecting with the players in general, and he believes in so many of them, and I think his belief in them when they're starting to doubt themselves, it really portrays on the player. I know players go through a lot of struggles, confidence issues especially when they struggle and don't meet up their expectations in their head, and Dennis is really good and very trustworthy in that he loves and thrives in the conversations and connections, and he finds a lot of pauses in the players and uplifts them when they need it. But he's also not afraid to, be honest with someone and hold them accountable to standards. So I think he earns a lot of respect there. He's just very honest with them, and sometimes it's when they need to hear a positive truth, and sometimes when they need to hear, something that's a little bit of a kick in the pants. And I think that has lifted up that whole team, because up and down that roster, they've all played really well, and a lot of contributors to that team, and I'm sure we'll continue to see others move in there and join that group as well.
Well, Kyle, through the Patrick Bailey trade, Matt Wilkinson, the tugboat, jumps over, and I had a chance to interview him, and he got traded over after he pitched against Richmond, and he walked over to the clubhouse the other side. Next thing you know, he's a Flying Squirrel. He seemed really excited about the move. Of course, he's pitching very well. What do you see out of him, and why that trade was made, especially to bring him over?
Well, I think the big part was obviously, I think we're all excited about the pick that we're going to get, because we've missed out on a lot of picks over the last few years. Mm-hmm. We lost, would we lose 4 picks over the last 2 drafts, I think it is. And that this is a way of, we got thin. We're kind of battling through that. The international's done a great job of helping us with some depth. But on the draft side, I think we're really excited about that pick, and kind of, being able to maybe make up for some lost picks in the past. And then when you add Matt, he's a guy who, to the eye test, you look and go, well, the premium velo is not really going to pop up on the radar gun, but the hitters are going to play like this fastball is way better than what it says on the radar gun. And, we can measure that through a lot of the technology. You don't want to bore people with it, but it's a special fastball quality from the left side, and plus command, multiple weapons off speed wise to get hitters out, and kind of a throwback lefty starting pitcher. I don't know who to compare him to, but you could see him thriving kind of, I don't know if it's some type of David Cohn type comp or something, or Chuck Finley or someone who's kind of got that sneaky fastball.
Wells, Kyle. I call him David. With his
David
body
Will.
type and the way he throws. That's who he reminded me of.
Well, I said David Wells first, but I also said Chuck Finley second because I thought the fastball and Chuck Finley was very athletic and put together. So I was trying to stay away from just comping body types, so to speak. But the lefties, kind of the sneaky fastballs that maybe don't show that 97, but still find a way to crafty get somebody out and be able to turn over lineups multiple times. I think it was nice addition to the upper level pitching depth to join in with the other group and see who wants to jump from the group up and help the big league team eventually at some point.
Kyle Haynes joined me on the Extra Inning postgame show. Of course, he's a senior director of player development for the San Francisco Giants. Jumping up to AAA of the River Cats, and I want to talk about Carson Wisdom and having a solid year so far. The home run ball, he's only given up one, really throwing well. And, of course, his changeup is his master pitch. What have you seen out of him this year?
Well, I think the fastball velocity's held a little better. We saw a lot of variance from outing to outing and throughout the season, sometimes on his fastball velo. So the velo has been there. I think he's really, I don't want to say matured because he's always been a matured kid, but just the conversation even last week I had with him in person, I felt like I was talking to a veteran player versus maybe a year ago, I felt like someone that was trying to still find his way as a pitcher, not just a thrower. And I think, I'm very optimistic that he's turned some type of corner here, and it shows with the numbers. But, from a stuff standpoint, he's done a great job. The fastball is playing up. It also has got some great characteristics to it to help it play harder than even the velo. Obviously, the changeup is wipeout. Multiple breaking balls have played well for him this year. But I'm really optimistic that this guy can turn a corner. And, I think he's been a unique case where a majority of his minor league innings have been in AAA. I mean, he didn't throw much in the minors until he got to AAA. So it feels like he's been in AAA forever, but he's really developed at that AAA level the last couple of years. And I think we're starting now to see him turn a corner.
Kyle, a player that moved up from Richmond to Sacramento, Drew Kavanaugh, hitting the hell out of the ball at AAA now, over 300. What is he playing position-wise? And he had to have been hitting really well in AA for that move up. And what do you see in his forecast?
Yeah, I think you talk about the offense, which has been real and plenty of reasons to talk about it, but he's a really good defensive catcher, left-handed hitting catcher. I think most of the pitchers in general would agree with me when they say they view him as a leader, very, very, trustworthy pitch caller, framer, blocks well, throws well. He's a really good defensive catcher. And to see the bat start to take off, and it started last year, and now continue into this year, to your point. I mean, he swung the bat really well in AA. He went to AAA. Now he's, hitting in the middle of that order right now. And it's not just plus offense. I think, we got a good defensive catcher. I know that. And if we can get, this offense to be real and stick and we continue trending up, maybe we have a left-handed offensive catcher.
Well, as we finish up with Kyle Haynes on the Extra Inning postgame show, we're going to look for that June 11th or July 11th and 12th, the draft coming up. The Giants get to 4th selection, and as you said, the competitive balance selection number 29 of 4 picks. And there's some good names here. I'm sure, as they always say, it's the best player available when you get that draft pick. Any thoughts on what you guys could think of? And I know there's a couple high school players in here, but a couple real good college players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of honestly from my view, I've checked in with Michael Holmes and people on the road, and honestly, I don't even really try to talk much players with them, if you want to know the truth, Bill, because those guys are in a different hotel room probably every night. So I just do almost a wellness check, say how you doing, and update them on the minor leagues. But yeah, they're on a bunch of players, and we've got a huge group that's all the top players that you'll see on any mock. They're probably at every game. We got somebody there, and once we get the big group together, I'm sure that they'll have somebody really good for us. And you just never know how it's going to unfold, though. People look at the mocks, and sometimes those are planted by agents or people who knows of what for strategic reasons. And I think we're all excited to see how our draft board comes together and see how it comes together there at the finish line and ultimately who we get. And nobody's more excited about seeing that name called than me, because then we get to work with them.
Yeah, well, 79 D1 players out of 150 players they were talking about. And it is when, just your opinion on something, when you draft a high school kid, it's so hard to figure out what his projections are. But you're looking at a high school kid, like you say, just like what you're talking about Hernandez being 17 years old. How do you guys foresee that? How does the forecast look of a player in high school, and how do you project those thoughts?
Well, that's the scouts are so good at this, and they really are. But it's a very still inexact science, and it's wild. And as I always try to tell people, I try to operate as many facts as I can, not opinions. But the facts are a majority of your MVPs, your all stars, your top 100 prospects are usually your high school or international signings. Those give you the biggest ceilings. If you go look at whoever, Baseball America, top 100, or you go look at the people who win the MVPs or get in the All-Star game, your position players, and more in particular, it's a pretty significant amount of those that are high school or international signings. It's because they offer those ceilings. Now, the downside is those are also sometimes the players you get that can't even get out of rookie ball or low A, because the first time they face good pitching, you realize, this guy can't hit a fastball over 90 miles an hour. And you really struggle knowing that until you can get them 250 at bats at the minor league level, and you can't evaluate that on the high school side. So it's a significant challenge. The college players always give you the higher floor.
Yeah.
The high school and the international give you the higher ceiling, but also they have the biggest bust rate as well. And the attention on the low level players, honestly, I don't think it really helps them, because what ends up happening is you end up having 17, 18-year-old kids with massive expectations, not just from the industry, but from their family, that they're going to be the breadwinner. And then they go through some scuffles in the minors, and you look up and go, what happened to that guy? And it's like, well, they were one of the bust. That's just the way it works. For every Matt Cain, there was probably 2 or 3 high school pitchers who were supposed to be that guy who didn't. Or for every Pablo Sandoval, there's somebody who didn't as well, and who had the same pedigree, or just keep naming the names.
Well, Kyle, it's always an exciting time for the player, and it's always an exciting time for the organization. Can't wait for July 11th and 12th and see what the Giants progress. And it's always a pleasure catching up with you, my friend.
No problem. Happy to talk baseball anytime, Bill.
All right, that was Kyle Haynes on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning postgame show as we close out a Sunday fun day as the Giants win in Colorado 19-6. They're 23-36 going into a 4-game road trip in Milwaukee as they win the final game of a 3-game stint against the Colorado Rockies. Landon Roop on the hill for the Giants tomorrow, 4:40 first pitch. I want to thank my guests today, Kyle Haynes and Drew Kavanaugh. Both those interviews will be on the All KNBR podcast if you didn't get a chance to catch up to them. Ryan McCarthy, my producer, did a great job all weekend with me, worked really hard, and I want to thank all Giants fans for calling in, talking Giants baseball right here in the Extra Inning postgame show. I'll be on Friday on Sports Phone KNBR after the first game against the Cubs, and then Extra Innings will follow up the Cubs series on Saturday and Sunday. For Bill Laskey, have a safe week. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
At the warning track, and it's into the Christmas tree farm.
It's another great outing for the righty on your home of San Francisco Giants baseball. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader. Play KNBR.